we've talked about Disney, we've talked about Hollywood in general, but one of Disney's other companies is Marvel, and Marvel, maybe more than any of them, except for maybe Star Wars, is really struggling right now to find their footing. They had one good movie last year in Deadpool and Wolverine. The last time they had a movie that really resonated with people was a Spider-Man No Way Home, which was all the way back in 2021. Since then, it's been a deluge of just crappy streaming shows that nobody cares about. There is a whole lot of apathy going on with Marvel right now, and they tried to fix this apathy by doing a large-scale casting announcement for Avengers Doomsday, where they revealed all of the actors that are going to be in the movie by letting a camera pan past their chair over the time span of it was like a live stream that went for like 5 hours, and then they cut it down to like a 1 minute production. Well, I'm going to give you the TLDR for this, which is that it's going to be saved, if at all, by a bunch of 20th Century Fox characters, the X-Men, and everybody else to Z-list garbage that nobody cares about. Nobody's going to see an Avengers movie to see Simu Liu as Shang-Chi. I'm sorry.
Also, I didn't even say it earlier, but I was looking at the list and I was like, okay, the only reason I have any interest in this is going to see Sir Ian McKellen in this film.
But even then, too old. And it's like, what I mean by that is like, if this was a movie that was back in the 20th Century Fox universe and they were trying to continue that story, but so much has happened since then, there's no stakes to it because he's just kind of coming in out of nowhere, where he's going to be what? I guess he'll be from another another universe.
That's the thing. Know. This is another universe, crossover thing, right? If I understand correctly, so far the bits and pieces that I get is Robert Downey Jr. is playing
Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom, and the reason he's Dr. Doom is like, what could he have become as opposed to Iron Man?
So here are here's the full list of the actors that are going to be in this movie. It's a very long one. Paul Rudd.
You got to show them the Variety article because except for Chris Hemsworth, all three of them look so weird. Like, it looks like Channing Tatum merged with a Russian henchman. Anthony Mackie looks like he's a Martian, and Florence Pugh, I don't know what's wrong with her. She just looks wrong.
I always say that she looks like those bottles of liquid honey, like the bear on the bottle of liquid honey. That's just me.
She looks too symmetrical. That's what it is.
But Anthony Mackie's always kind of making that face. I kind of appreciate it. I think he does it on purpose now, where he's kind of making his own kind of side eye at the camera.
It's really Channing Tatum for me, I think.
But his face kind of blew up.
Yeah.
How old is Tatum now?
He's got to be in his 40s.
Yeah.
Is he going to be Gambit?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to get Paul Rudd back as Ant-Man. Does anybody care? Really? Like, is that your attempt as playing? No Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I guess the most important thing is to say, who are the ones that they didn't bring back so far? Which is, there's no Spider-Man announced. There's no Wolverine announced. There's no Deadpool announced. There's no Guardians of the Galaxy announced.
To be fair, it is kind of a Marvel thing to try and surprise you.
I mean, but they can't afford surprise right now. Like they can't. They literally like the idea is like pro wrestling surprises. They have surprise returns for characters. Marvel can't afford surprises. Right
I wouldn't be shocked if when's the movie supposed to come out?
2026.
So I wouldn't be shocked if sometime this fall you start to see like the planned leaks about like Spider-Man
And they can bring back. Look, they're bringing back the Fox characters, which means that they can bring back and the Sony characters. They can bring back all three versions of Spider-Man if they want to. One thing that I heard floated last night was like, what if they bring in Miles Morales animated into the movie?
Oh God! At this point, Spider-Man, please go home.
So look, they're relying on the Fantastic Four, which are in there. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: we don't know yet how Fantastic Four or Thunderbolts are going to do at the box office. The trailer response to Fantastic Four was decently well. I've seen people trying to AstroTurf Thunderbolts into talking about it like it's going to be this A24 style movie. Marvel doesn't do A24. Marvel does slop. I love slop normally. That's fine. But all the trailers have had completely different vibes from one another, which tells me that tonally they don't know what they're actually going for. And if they're trying to obfuscate that means that there's problems all the way down to the script level, which is how it was conceived for the movie. And I don't know if they left Deadpool off there because Ryan Reynolds is just kind of nuclear right now and not somebody they want to include with all of his controversies right now. But there was no reason not to include Wolverine in this.
No.
I don't believe for a second that Hugh Jackman won't be in it. Thank
I'll tell you, I would
No
go see
dancing
it.
again.
I would go see. You got a room full of white guys.
That's not a problem.
I
I don't do the dancing. I expect you guys to do the
I
dancing.
would go see a Mission Impossible in Marvel crossover. Because at that point, I feel like we'd just be getting to the correct level of silliness.
Well, I said the other day, I said, if when these movies fail, can we just have Universal buy? Oh no, I was talking about Superman. I said if Superman bombs, can Universal just buy Superman and get a Fast and the Furious, Transformers, Superman movie? I would be okay with that.
See, but that's the thing is we keep talking about this. We're like, you know what would really make these movies better? If they were made 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, that seems to just be the conclusion, is like, nobody trusts Disney to make a good movie anymore.
Here's the thing,
I don't trust
they were,
WB
though.
to make a good movie. They were. I don't trust any of these companies to make a good movie anymore, and you probably know more about it than I do, but it seems like there's just, like, the talent just isn't there.
Depending on how spiteful you are, there are none of the Marvels in there. No Miss Marvel, no Captain Marvel, no Monica Rambeau. I think that's a shame because I think Iman Vellani is fantastic as Miss Marvel. And I think that she could have taught Rachel Zegler a course on how to promote movies and really embrace the character that you've kind of been hired to do. I thought she brought a lot of charm to that role, even if the show wasn't really received super well. But none of those characters are in there. I was like, outside looking in, is this something you have any interest in? You seem like these movies aren't for you.
See, here's the thing: is people have been talking
really ever into Marvel.
No, I'm a big DC guy.
Oh, let's go!
Yeah, I'm a huge DC guy. Grew up on DC. I grew up with Batman the Animated Series, the Justice League show. All
Just
these
started
great
showing
things.
that to my fiance last night for
Oh,
the
we
first
love
time. I posted, I said, showing Olivia a masterpiece, and then put update Man Bat scared the crap out of her.
I love it.
She was scared by Man Bat.
That's the thing,
That's
like,
okay.
I grew up watching these. I grew up making like stop motion Lego Batman stuff when I was a kid, like just on my mom's like phone, like nothing I ever put up on YouTube or anything like that. Like I had posters, and I had a Superman poster in my apartment, like in my bedroom up until like I moved in with my girlfriend a month ago.
So are you
like,
more interested, say, for James Gunn's Superman than anything coming out from
And
Marvel?
see, that's the thing, is I'm someone who grew up with it. I love it. I love these stories. I think a lot of people in Hollywood who aren't involved with these don't give them enough credit as they should, especially like the earlier ones, because like these are our modern day Greek and Roman gods.
Yeah.
Like this is our modern day mythology, and like if you treat it well, they can be as engaging as the classics were. I'm not going to say that they are going to ever be better than the classics, because that would kind of be sacrilegious, but you can really explore some interesting things with these characters, and I'm not saying that they haven't done that so far. The downside is that when you have so much, and we've been talking about superhero movie fatigue for a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody's saying, oh, it's happening. It's like, I think officially the box office is starting to show that like people are starting to get tired of it.
Post Endgame, that is true, but I think it's less to do with necessarily superhero fatigue specifically. It's that there were too many bombs in a row, meaning too many films that nobody really cared about. I think that they kind of deluded themselves into believing that the Marvel brand was enough to stand up on a bunch of characters that nobody cared about. So when they released The Eternals and nobody cared, when they released Shang-Chi and nobody cared. And by the way, I thought Shang-Chi was a fine movie, and I thought The Eternals was kind of awful, except for Angelina Jolie, who kind of put on an acting clinic
I didn't
compared
even
to...
watch the.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's...
Yeah, neither
that's-
did
I don't think
that's-
I've watched a Marvel film since Endgame.
Therein lies the
The
problem.
only one I did was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, that's the thing is like if I were to go back and watch one, it would be that.
Yeah.
Like...
Also, I mean, when you think about it, this is not surprising. I don't understand why the studios are struggling with this. Think about every big trend in movies and TV. They last 5 to 15 years. We're coming up on year 20 in 3 years. Like, Marvel was done when I was in college.
The closest thing this reminds me of is it feels like the musical era of the 50s and 60s in Hollywood.
Or like, I mean, every trend eventually meets its end date.
Yeah.
Westerns, noir, they reach a sell-by date. And
Zombies,
then,
werewolves, vampires.
usually once they start deconstructing it. Usually
Yeah.
once you get to the deconstruction phase, then things start to fall apart because it becomes self-important and it lacks the love that the original creators had for those franchises. Or at the very least, if it's a Christopher Nolan, somebody who's just so good at his job, it doesn't matter if he really loves the material or not. He can just adapt a story very well. But I look at this stuff and I'm thinking about how Nobody's really excited for something like this. How much is it going to cost? Like, all of those actors don't come necessarily cheap. Like, I mean, I'm sure you can get, like, Kelsey Grammer doesn't come cheap, I'm sure.
No,
like,
none of these people
for
don't.
his time. But a lot of them, Alan Cumming probably doesn't come cheap. But Hannah John Kamen, Joseph Quinn, like, they're like television actors. Or I'm sorry, not Joseph Quinn. Eben Moss Bachrach, who's actually really, really good and a growing face in Hollywood. But those ones aren't going to cost as much as, say, an Ian McKellen, Channing Tatum, a James Marsden, a Kelsey Grammer, a Chris Hemsworth will probably just do it for like a pack of gum.
Honestly, no, he hated playing that character because of the fitness regimen.
Yeah.
But
He
loves
probably
the character, but he doesn't like the way
hated the fitness regimen.
I'll tell you what, I guarantee the top like 10 or 12 build on the credits when that comes out like officially is probably minimum 50% of the budget.
Oh yeah.
Which is insane.
If you look at these names, like, yeah, there's a lot of names on here that probably won't command a ton of money, but even at the middle of the road point, like Anthony Mackie, Sebastian
Florence
Stan,
Pugh doesn't come cheap anymore.
yeah, Florence Pugh, those are people who
Paul
they're
Rudd?
still gonna be millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then you got to pay Pedro Pascal, Channing Tatum, Robert Downey Jr., Ian McKellen, Patrick
I
Stewart.
feel
Oh,
like-
I guarantee Robert Downey Jr. has the biggest.
Oh, by far.
90 million between two movies.
Exactly. That's like, so what? We're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 45 million per big name.
I actually personally think that USAID funds Pedro Pascal. That's why they put him in all the movies. I think the government has some type of program in place.
He's the only person in Hollywood that hasn't been in a Marvel movie.
Well, but he's going.
They're
to be.
even reusing Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. Oh no, it's funny. He's also like, I like. Have you seen like the joke is like literally everyone's in the Odyssey except for Pedro Pascal.
No, he'll show up.
He'll be in a post-credit scene in the Odyssey.
Dude, I'm still so mad about the armor in the Odyssey.
I know.
It's not the time.
He was going off about it.
That is not what the armor looked like.
Perhaps we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
We weren't going to talk about that, but perhaps we'll talk about that tomorrow. But also, like, it's not just that. The runtime is going to be obscenely long.
I'm fine with
2.5
that.
to
Yeah.
no. All movies under 2 hours.
No.
From here on out. I don't want a movie over 2 hours.
How
anymore.
dare you say such a thing about Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King Extended Edition?
I said from here on out.
Okay,
No,
fine.
but here's the
from here on
thing. A Christopher Nolan Odyssey movie, if it's 8 hours long, I'll buy the ticket. Like, I don't care.
Even look, I loved Oppenheimer. I should say I really liked Oppenheimer. At 3 hours long, that's about the max for me. I complained the whole time, but I
didn't
enjoyed
need to
it.
be
Hang on,
But
hang
I'm
on.
not going to watch it at home.
Did
Like,
you
I'm
do
not,
Barbenheimer?
not on the same day.
Okay.
Yeah, see, here's the problem. We did Barbenheimer.
We
In
did.
that order.
In
You
that
watched
order.
them both?
No,
we
here's the
watched
thing.
them both, but we started with Barbie, then went to Boozy Brunch, then went to Oppenheimer.
So here's the problem.
That you should
Don't
been,
do
You
that.
should have been Oppenbarb.
Oh, Brett, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That was what I wanted to do, but I was overruled.
No, I suggested, hey, Barbie will be fun, then we can go get drinks, and we don't want to go to brunch sad from Oppenheimer, so we'll enjoy brunch after Barbie and be all like light and whatever, and then we'll go to Oppenheimer, and then we'll leave and go home and think about how like crazy the world is.
I went into Oppenheimer drunk and happy, and I came out sober and sad.
Yeah. It wasn't a great way.
That's sad. Well, we will have to wait and see. I just think right now they suffer from a whole ton of apathy, and there's a lack of actual excitement around Marvel properties that they weren't able to re-engage with people when they did this. I think they thought they were going to get more people excited about this movie than actually did. It just felt like a flop of an announcement to me. Also, the whole video, which we won't play here because of copyright, it's literally them showing empty chairs, which feels very emblematic of Marvel right now, because a lot of the movies when they go, it's empty theater chairs.
I think Marvel experienced the same thing that Star Wars experienced, which is they ruined. I don't know if they ruined forever, but they did so much damage to their property by putting out subpar movies.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
it's not
streaming plays
it's not even about, it's when you allow the political climate of the day to influence your storytelling so much, you're going to turn people away, and people go to movies because they want an escape, not because they want to be, they don't want to hear the same thing at a movie that they're going to hear on the news and that they're going to hear from the quote unquote authorities.
Yeah.
Right. When the president is saying things that, and you hear movies resonating those things or repeating those kind of things, and you hear it on the news and you hear it in almost every kind of arena that is has popular culture, people are just like, I'm tired of it. I don't want to listen to this
Do you
anymore.
think President Trump has a favorite superhero? Is it Superman? It kind of has to be Superman.
I feel like President Trump has a superhero figurine of himself.
Yeah, agreed.
With a cape?
Yeah, 100%. It's a gold cape for sure.
Deportation man.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.